Well, isn't this a fine kettle of fish? You know, it reminds me of a story about my dear old Uncle Fred. Uncle Fred, bless his heart, was a die-hard fishing enthusiast. Had the kind of passion for fish that would have made Moby Dick rethink his life choices. So, Uncle Fred, in all his wisdom, decides one day to buy himself a talking parrot. Why? Don't ask me. Maybe he thought it would make for a good fishing buddy. But this parrot was a real piece of work. It had a vocabulary that would make a sailor blush and an attitude to match. Every morning Fred would say, "Morning, Polly," and the parrot would reply, "What's it to you, old man?" But Uncle Fred, being as stubborn as a mule, thought he could train this parrot to be more polite. So he tried everything. He played it classical music, read it poetry, even tried to teach it Shakespeare. But the parrot, unimpressed, would just squawk back, "To be or not to be, that's a load of codswallop." One day Uncle Fred had had enough. He stormed up to the parrot and said, "If you don't start showing some respect, I'll throw you into the fish pond." The parrot, unfazed, retorted, "Oh, I'm shaking in me feathers, Fred." And so, true to his word, Uncle Fred tossed the parrot into the fish pond. There was a moment of silence, then a splash, and then, "Blimey, Fred, there's a heck of a lot of fish in here." From then on, the parrot was the most polite creature you'd ever meet. And Uncle Fred? Well, he learned a valuable lesson that day. If you want to teach a parrot manners, forget Shakespeare, just throw it in a fish pond. So remember, folks, next time you're struggling with a problem, maybe all you need is a different perspective, or a fish pond. But let's not get carried away. After all, we can't all be like Uncle Fred. And speaking of getting carried away, did you hear about the fish that went to a party? It pulled a mussel. Now, that's a story for another day. For now, keep smiling, keep laughing, and remember, life's too short to argue with a parrot.